Hello and welcome to Cascade High School in Clayton, Indiana. My name is Lec Zorn and I'll be bringing you all the action as your Cascade Cadets challenge the Eminence Eels in Game 19 of the Indiana High School basketball season. Well, as they enter the last 4 games of the regular season, your cadets appear to be getting on track in time for the playoffs, which start in just 18 days. In their last game a week ago yesterday, Cascade broke a 7-game losing streak with a 65-53 win over cross-county rival Bethesda Christian behind a career-high 29 points from 6'8" center Benson Walker. Tonight, the Cadets go for their first winning streak of the season against the Eminence Eels, who enter the game at 9-9 and are going for their first winning season in 8 years. Now, Cascade is led in scoring by 6'1" junior Mason Tharp, who averages 12.8 points, 4.1 rebounds, and a team-high 2.7 steals per game. Close behind is the aforementioned 6'8" center Benson Walker with 12.1 points and a team-high 5.6 rebounds per game. 5'8" sophomore Stephen Alderson averages 5.6 points per game. 5'10" junior A.J. Sanders, known primarily as a football star, has surprisingly emerged as a solid basketball player this season, averaging 5.4 points and 4.4 rebounds per game. And 5'9" senior Bryson Phillips averages 3.6 points and a team-high 2-point assists per game. Meanwhile, Eminence is led by 6'1" senior Sean Michaelis, who averages team highs of 18.9 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 2.1 assists per game, plus 1.9 steals per game. 6' junior Julian Webb averages 12.5 points and 4.1 rebounds per game. 5'8" Nolan Ringler averages 7.6 points per game. 5'10" senior Dylan Campbell averages 6.8 points per game. And 5'10" junior Colton Bales averages 6.4 points and a team-high 2.2 steals per game. Cascade's head coach is David Carpenter, who's 129-200 in his 15th season with the Cadets. He led the school to sectional championships in 2005 and 2006. Eminence's head coach is Todd Haney, who's 9-9 in his first season with the Eels. Well, at this time, we'll take a short break for a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with the opening tip-off. Cascade Eminence coming at you live. Next. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall and North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, Dunn Insurance Agency, Jill and Ian Bell's ExpertRealtors.net and Global Construction Management. Silver Partners, Electric Plus, Bassett Services Heating and Cooling, and Clean Sensation Auto Detail, and Bronze Partner Endeavor Communications. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're just a few minutes away from tip-off. We've got the two teams warming up now. We just completed the JV game a few minutes ago with Cascade winning by a score of 47-26. You know, the last time I commentated Cascade versus Eminence 2 years ago, back here at Clayton, the JV team actually won by a score of 74-18. And you know, usually when you commentate a JV game, you get a taste of what it's going to be like probably in about 2 years when the varsity teams meet up. But certainly Eminence has come a very long way since then. The Eels are a long struggling program. They have only one winning season since 1995, and they also have 2 500 seasons in that stretch. They're currently on a streak of 7 consecutive losing seasons. However, they're threatening to break that record. They enter this game with a record of 9-9. And now it should be noted that Eminence is a Class 1A school, and all 9 of their wins come against Class 1A schools. However, that doesn't mean this game is going to be a cakewalk for the Cadets. As you know, the two teams have overall fared roughly equally against their 4 common opponents. Monrovia beat both schools. However, they actually beat Cascade by a much bigger margin. Monrovia beat Cascade 64-35, but only beat Eminence 63-50. So they actually beat us by more than twice the margin. Monrovia did. Then South Putnam beat Eminence by only 5 points, 58-53. However, South Putnam beat Cascade by 10 points, 62-52. The margin was much closer against Speedway. Speedway scored 57 points against both Cascade and Eminence, beating Cascade 57-49 and Eminence 57-46. So only 3-point difference in the margins of victory there. And the only opponent against whom Cascade clearly did better was Bethesda Christian, who a week ago yesterday in our most recent game we beat 65-53. Meanwhile, Bethesda Christian beat Eminence by a score of 67-52. So this is a game in which Cascade certainly has a shot to win, but you've got to guard against overconfidence. Eminence, Cascade is known across the board for not scheduling cupcakes. The football team doesn't play any 1A teams at all. And keep in mind there are 6 classes in football as opposed to 4 in basketball. The girls' basketball team doesn't schedule any 1A teams at all. Cascade only schedules 2, Bethesda Christian and Eminence, who in recent years have come back-to-back in the schedule. It's one of those things. I think, it's okay to have a balanced schedule. It's okay to occasionally schedule a team that's less than stellar. As long as you don't do it too often, and as long as, the kids stay focused and give their A game. Tomorrow we play a ranked 4A team, the Plainfield Quakers, and, certainly this game presumably will be like a night and day as far as the quality of our opponent. Not that Eminence is bad, certainly a 9-9 record is okay, but obviously, Eminence nowhere near the team that Plainfield is. A mediocre 1A team versus a very good 4A team. Really this is compared to the average 2A team in the state, Cascade probably is in the top 10% in toughness of schedule. And I think that, certainly if they win tonight, get their first winning streak of the season, that will help them build momentum going into the playoffs. But what I really don't, what I'm concerned about is if they do get a win tonight, I don't want them to then, lose that momentum by getting demolished tomorrow night at Plainfield. Now, when we played Plainfield back on January 2nd right here at Clayton in the Hendricks County Tournament, the Quakers got a 76-36 win. And certainly it's extremely unlikely that Cascade will win the game tomorrow. But what I really want us to do is to bring our A game and at least be solidly competitive. I think we should have a goal to, cut the margin of victory in half. They beat us by 40 last time. Let's make a goal to lose by no more than 20 tomorrow. And certainly that will establish us as, being a team that's getting on track in time for the playoffs. And, even though this is not as good a Cascade team as the last two, this team actually is going to have a better chance than those two to win the sectional. The last couple of years it was, pretty certain heading in that Cloverdale was going to, run away with the sectional. And they won it both years. 2 years ago they had Cooper Neese, the 9th leading scorer in state history, and Jalen Moore, the 11th leading scorer in state history. Last year they still had more as Neese had graduated. Now they're starting over, well, not exactly starting over, but certainly in rebuilding mode. And, really, in my 3 years of commentating Cascade boys and girls basketball, this looks to be on paper by far the most balanced competitive sectional, one in which I think all 6 teams are going to have a realistic chance to win. Sectional is going to start 2 weeks from Tuesday out at South Putnam High School, 15 miles down US 40 in the lovely community of Greencastle. And we're going to find out, against whom we're going to play and on what date a week from Sunday on ihsaatv.org. They have a great, ihsaatv.org has done a great job in recent years with their tournament selection shows. I watch them live whenever I can, and when I can't, then it's okay because they're archived and I can watch them at my convenience anytime. So, certainly, and I remember I look forward to all their selection shows the way that for many years I looked forward to the NCAA tournament selection show, and I still do to some extent, although the college basketball having taken a few steps down in popularity and significance here in Indiana in recent years, I don't as much anymore, but I still fill out a bracket every year. And so anyway, and hopefully you'll see hopefully we'll get one of the Indiana schools in the Final Four again. I've been pleased by Butler becoming a powerhouse in the last decade. Certainly getting to the consecutive national championship games in 2010 and 2011 was fantastic. My sentimental favorite, I really want to see Purdue get there under Matt Painter. Gene Cady. He had so many overachieving teams that had a lot of regular season success, but he never got over the hump and got to the Final Four, got to the Final Eight twice. And, that's a program that I really believe, I hope that I'm not being naive, but I really believe that Purdue is a program that does things the right way, that they, recruit real students. As far as I can tell, that they play by the rules. They don't recruit guys who are going to be there in college for 1 year and then turn pro. They recruit guys who stay there the full 4 years, and it's a throwback to the way things were when I was growing up, when almost everybody stayed the full 4 years in college. I think it's the way it should be. But anyway, Eminence, by the way, for those of you who don't know, and I did not before I started commentating Cascade and looked them up, but Eminence is located in Morgan County. I've actually never been there before, unless I was just passing through and didn't know it. But anyway, Eminence is 14 miles southwest of Clayton. Eminence is located in Morgan County, which the county in which Martinsville resides, and it's an unincorporated community. And the program has been long suffering, although they have had some success over the years. They've won 4 sectionals. 2 of them actually came in the single class era in 1962 and 78. Then in the class era, they've won sectionals in 2007 and 2011. And actually won a regional back in 62, the only regional championship in school history. And it's hard to imagine a school that small winning the regional. If I remember correctly, last time I checked a couple of years ago, Eminence had about 250 students, which is about half as many as Cascade has. Cascade, last I checked, was around, I think, 463. But nevertheless, that was in 1962 when the Eels won their only regional. That was the tail end of the mass consolidation era. And it was, in fact, Cascade formed 2 years later as a consolidation of Clayton, Amo, and Stylesville high schools. And, as you've probably heard me say on the air, my uncle Bob Wishman played on the Milan 1954 state championship team, which inspired the movie Hoosiers. And I'm not downplaying the significance of that. It was a very significant event, but it's also important to remember that at that time there hadn't been a lot of consolidation yet. So even the big schools, the biggest schools, they weren't the mega factories like, Carmel and Ben Davis are, they just have massive student bodies and, obviously have, a lot of, outstanding college-like facilities. And, it's, it's always important to look at things in the proper historical context. And so it was, the small schools did have a little bit of an easier chance back in the old days. And I still think that class basketball overall was a mistake. I think a good compromise would have been the system they have in Kentucky, which was, I think they still have it, where everybody plays in the main tournament, but then during the off season there's a tournament for the small schools as well. But anyway, this is a series that's been dominated by Cascade in recent years. The Cadets have won 22 of the last 24 meetings in the series. The last Eminence victory was 5 years ago today, February the 8th, 2014. Out at Eminence, the Eels won that game by a score of 50 to 34. So anyway, and looking up, by the way, I was curious. Today I actually looked up, the town of Eminence because I was curious to try to get a little more information about it. And there's a little bit of it's interesting. It's one of those towns where the origin of the name is actually uncertain. And it says here, the name is possibly commendatory, but according to some accounts, it is descriptive, as the village site allegedly was the highest point between Indianapolis and Vincennes when State Road 67 was surveyed. And at that, we'll pause for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Well, thank you to Cascade for that lovely rendition of the national anthem. And looking here, I actually did a Bing.com search. I asked, I just put in population of Eminence, Indiana, and in the year 2000, the population was actually 56 with 27 housing units. So I assume that the bulk of the Eminence students live outside the town limits. And again, it is an unincorporated community. So anyway, but yeah, I am curious about, I would like to get down to Eminence sometime, and I probably will as close as it is, just to check it out. Very often when you hear me talk about, our opponents, I mention them as hailing from the lovely community of wherever, and usually I've been to that community before, so I can confirm that it's lovely, but I've never been to Eminence, so I'm curious, and especially as close as it is, I'm likely to go there. And as I mentioned a couple of years ago when I commentated Cascade versus Eminence, I'm curious about their name, the Eels. Maybe they just wanted, a name that starts with E, since Eminence starts with an E. It does seem like it's not a very appropriate name otherwise, since I don't think that there are any Eels that habitate in or near Eminence. Now, the other, as far as I know, is the only other Morgan County high school, Martinsville. They're the Artesians, which is appropriate because there actually are artesian wells there in that area. But it's a cool nickname, and they have a cool logo. And I'm curious as to whether they actually have an eel mascot at their home games or not. Hopefully they do. That'd be really cool. And I might actually buy one of their T-shirts. I know that, I want to get a Ladoga Canners T-shirt. They're one of the great names in Indiana high school basketball history, named after the local canning factory. And the school doesn't exist anymore. I think it's part of the North Putnam system. I'm not sure. But now, but anyway, the point is Ladoga Elementary still exists, and they're still called the Canners, and they still make Canners T-shirts. So I plan to get one because they have such a funny logo. It's actually a tin can with arms and legs, and no word on whether they actually have a mascot up there. But anyway, okay, opening tip-off now. We have Benson Walker jumping for Cascade against Braden Tudor of Eminence. 6-inch height advantage for Walker, so not surprisingly, Cascade wins the opening tip. So anyway, A.J. Sanders with the ball now at the free throw line, pitches out to Steven Alderson. Inside to Walker, posts up, out to Sanders, fakes a three, drives to the basket, and then he pitches back out to Alderson. 7:33 to go here in the first quarter. Now finds over in the corner for three, Phillips, and he hits it. So good start to the game. No, I'm sorry, that was Alderson. That was Alderson for the three, excuse me. So Steven Alderson, very good starts to the game. And now Cascade takes a 3-0 lead, and now the pass inside to Tudor is tipped out of bounds. Nice steal attempt there. I believe that was Alderson who tipped it out. 7:12 to go in the first quarter. Your score, Cascade 3. Eminence 0. Now drive to the basket. Beautiful right-handed hook. No good, however. And ball knocked out of bounds to Cascade. So now Sanders fakes a baseline jumper, pitches out now to Alderson. A three-pointer by Alderson, no good. And Eminence controls the rebound. And now three-pointer from the right corner, no good. Tharp the rebound, brings it up himself. Now pitches out down to Phillips, fakes a three, then drives inside. Now good ball movement inside to Walker, pitches back out. And now three-pointer from the right corner by Sanders, from the left corner by Sanders, no good. And the Eels control the rebound. We got a whistle here with 6:21 to go. Foul is going to be on Phillips. And I believe on that last possession, even though we didn't get a score, I believe all five Cadets touched the ball in a span of about 5 seconds. So very good ball movement by Cascade. And, even when you don't get a score, there is a beautiful penetrating move there by Michaelis, getting the first points of the game by Eminence, cutting the lead to 3-2. And now beautiful beautiful pass to Sanders on the inside, no good. He gets his own rebound, however, gives it to Walker, then and he travels. But, like on that last possession, it's an example that even when you don't get a point out of it, it's still encouraging to see good fundamental play like that. Your shots aren't always going to fall, but as long as you keep playing good fundamental ball, things are going to generally fall into place for you. And now wide open under the basket, we have Matt Sims who lays it in to give the Eels their first lead. 4-3 here with 5:30 to go here in the first quarter. Again, these two teams, though Eminence has the far better record, 9-9 versus 4-14. Cascade's played the much tougher schedule, but the teams overall have done roughly evenly against their 4 common opponents, so this game not likely to be a cakewalk for the Cadets. So now Alderson to Tharp, to Phillips, cross court now to Alderson again. Tries to feed Walker, but the pass is tipped, and we got a steal there by Eminence. Sanders, however, comes away and tries to steal it, and it's knocked out of bounds to Cascade. 5:15 to go. Eminence 4, Cascade 3. We're coming at you live here on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lec Zorn. This is our 3rd season of bringing you Cascade boys and girls basketball here on audiosportsonline.com. So now Tharp, the team's leading scorer on the season. Now inside there to Phillips, pitches out to Walker in the corner. Now he penetrates and pitches over to Sanders, now to Phillips, fakes a 3, now drives in. Free throw line jumper, no good. The Eels control the rebound. It's a very low scoring game, and now in a bizarre play, the ball accidentally, it was being dribbled by Sean Michaelis, and it actually, the dribble on the way up actually hit him in the face, although he did not appear to be hurt. And now Cameron Ginter coming in for Benson Walker, who just picked up his first foul. Nearly halfway through this first quarter. Your score, Cascade 4. Eminence 4, Cascade 3. Game 19 of 22 in the regular season. And now a fake on the 3-pointer there by Ringler. Then he banks in a 2-pointer. So it's a 3. It's a 6-0 Eminence run. Now a shot there blocked, and the Eels now with the momentum, a 6-0 run. And now, however, they got a charge there. So good break for the Cadets. So hopefully we'll get things settled down without a timeout. Foul's going to be on Sims. However, the Cadets take a team foul, take a timeout anyway. So relatively disappointing start to the game for Cascade. And anyway, Cascade jumped off to a 3-0 lead on a 3-pointer by Stephen Alderson. However, Eminence responded with 6 consecutive points on field goals by Sean Michaelis, Matt Sims, and Nolan Ringler. And now, nearly halfway through this first quarter, the Eels have a 6-3 lead. Okay, I actually just got a text with some information about Eminence. It says the gymnasium is called the Tank, and while the town isn't located on the Eel River, it is nearby. The Eel nickname is also shared by nearby Clay City. Okay, well, so I just learned something new. So thank you. And now Sanders drives in and he hits it. So cutting the lead to 6-5, breaking that 6-0 run there by Eminence. And now a 3-pointer is good. Julian Webb. So now in just the first 4:10 of the game, 4 Eels have already scored, and it's a 9-5 lead there for Eminence. 3:39 to go now. And 3-pointer now there by Alderson, no good. Cascade's got to settle down here. And now a 3-pointer swish there. That's by Michaelis. He has a game-high 5, and it's a 12-5 Eminence lead. They are now on a so now Mason Tharp gets his first points, cutting the lead to 12-7. And now another 3, and this time no good. And now, Eminence going for threes a lot here in the early going, and now drive to the basket, and Webb draws the foul. But yeah, after that, that was a very surprising 12-2 run by Eminence after that 3-0 lead by Cascade. Foul on Sanders, that's already a second, team third. Free throw is in and out there by Webb. But, you know, then again, come to think of it, you know, even though the name Eels seemed appropriate. And now free throw there is good there by Michaelis. He has game high 6 now. And it's a 13-7 Eminence lead. Cascade just needs to settle down and play their game. And now inside there to Walker, who's back into the game. Turnaround jumper, no good. And we've got a whistle there. 2:38 to go here in the first quarter. Disappointing start to the game for Cascade. And that's his second, and that is a concern. Walker's having a breakthrough year. He scored a career-high 29 in his last game, but no points here tonight, even though he has a 5-inch height advantage over anybody on Eminence. We just need to get the ball into him often. That hasn't been happening so far. And now a steal there. Drive to the basket by Ginter. Feeds driving Hetler, and he hits it. So Gavin Hetler cuts the lead to 4. Hetler was going to be the go-to guy next year in the middle. And now no good. However, and the ball knocked out of bounds to Eminence. So a 13-9 your score with 2:09 to go here in the first quarter. Already 4, and now Dane Du Bois coming in for Mason Tharp. But yeah, I was glad to see that drive to the basket and successful field goal by Gavin Hetler, because we're really going to need him next season. We're going to need him to be the man in the middle, just like Benson Walker has been this season. And a year ago, I was saying that Walker would have to be to fill in for Dalton Du Bois, who's gone on to play for Anderson University. Walker very well could be on his way to play college ball, as well as he's having a breakthrough season in which he's tripled his scoring average from last season, from 4 to 12 a game. So now inside to Hetler, posts up, puts it up off the glass, and he hits it. So 4 quick points for Hetler, 13-11. So Cascade trying to hang in there. Now another 3-pointer, no good, just barely grazing the rim. Alderson the rebound. Good job by the 5'8 Alderson to get inside. Now he goes to a driving Phillips, who drives in. He hits it and he's fouled. Yes. So we're tied now, and Phillips a chance to make a 3-point play here. So Phillips to put the team back in the lead. He hit it. Bryson Phillips with 3 now, and it's a 14-13 Cadets lead, 1:18 to go here in the first quarter at Clayton. The Cadets now on a 7-0 run. And now they foul, they hack, I believe that was Zeke Newton as he was going in. Zeke Newton, he is a 6'3 junior who's the tallest player on the team. First free throw, no good. And now Tharp coming in for Sanders. Each player with 2 points on the game so far. 1:11 to go in the first quarter. And he hits the second one. 14-14 your score. 5 players from each team have already scored in the first quarter. very impressive for two smaller schools, a 1A versus a 2A. But anyway, thank you to Stacy for that information there about the origin of the Eminence Eels name. You know, sometimes I actually look up stuff like that. Sometimes I find it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes, you know, the origin of the names are a mystery, and no living person seems to know. Now, free throw line jumper, no good. And a rebound tipped around. Eminence controls it. We got a whistle there with 34.4 seconds to go, and it's going to be a foul against Eminence. Let's see what the call is. Apparently no foul. I didn't see a travel or walk called, but anyway, 27 seconds to go now. Cascade possibly holding for the last shot. It's been an up and down first quarter. The Cadets gave up a 12-2 run after taking a 3-0 lead, but now we are tied at 14. 12 seconds to go now. Tharp with the ball over to Phillips, over to Du Bois. Cross court back to Tharp. 5 seconds to go. Three-pointer from the corner by Ginter. In and out. Rebound by Hetler, puts it up, and he hits it. Yes! And so Cascade closes out the first quarter on a 9-1 run, and the Cadets look like they're getting on track here. And the best news of all, Gavin Hetler with 6 points now. And so after one quarter of play here at Clayton, your score, Cascade 16, Eminence 14. Will be back after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza. Dunn Insurance Agency, Jill, Indian Bells, ExpertRealtors.net, and Global Construction Management. Silver Partners, Electric Plus, Bassett Services Heating and Cooling, and Clean Sensation Auto Detail, and Bronze Partner Endeavor Communications. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, where we're about to start the second quarter with your Cascade Cadets leading the visiting Eminence Eels by a score of 16-14. It's a game in which Eminence got off to a red-hot start. They actually led at one point by a score of 12-5 before Cascade went on a 9-1 run to close out the quarter, spearheaded by 6 points from backup center Gavin Hetler. So a very encouraging start. And now very encouraging to see Hetler do that well that early. And now down court pass from Ginter there to Hetler. He pitches outside. Now Tharp with the ball. Now to a wide open three. That's Du Bois. And he hits it. Yes! Dane Du Bois becoming the sixth cadet to score already, just seconds into the quarter. And Cascade now with a 5-point lead. The Cadets now on a 12-1 run, and we got a foul against Cascade here. So I like the balance that I'm seeing by Cascade so far. That's very encouraging. Hetler surprisingly the team's leading scorer with 6. Michaelis has 6 to lead Eminence. And now a baseline, now wide open for 3 for Eminence. In and out. Hetler the rebound. He pitches up to Du Bois. Brings it down court, down to Tharp in the right corner, out to Hetler, drives to the basket, puts it up, and he's fouled. 7-11 to go. Gavin Hetler is a junior. He stands 6'5", and hopefully he'll grow a few more inches, but even if not, he can still be a very effective player for us on the inside next season. As the foul is on Newton, and Hetler, his first free throw is up, and he hits it, so Hetler adding to his career high. He has 8 now. Hetler averaging 2.3 points and 2.1 rebounds a game on the season. Second one in and out. Nevertheless, Hetler with a game-high 7. Gets my vote for MVP so far. And now we got a whistle here with 6:53 to go here in the second quarter. Cascade with a 20-14 lead. The Cadets look like they're finally getting the game under control after a shaky start. Now a three-pointer there from the left perimeter from the right perimeter is no good. And now he's fouled trying to on the rebound, trying to put it back up. That's going to be on Cameron Ginter, who returned in the last game after missing 7 games. He was our starting power forward early in the season and didn't put up flashy statistics, but he was a good plugger on the inside as Michaelis hits his first one. He has 7 points, tying it's the highest for Eminence and tying Hetler for the team lead. Second one is good. So 2016 Cascade lead. Michaelis with 8 of his team's points, 8 of the 16. So Du Bois now over to Tharp, drives into the lane. Jump shot is good. Tharp with 4 now. And pushing the lead back up to 6. And now mishandled pass. And a nice attempt there by Eminence to save it, but it goes out of bounds to Cascade. So the Cadets now with a chance to take firm control of this game. Well, I was wrong. Hetler's career high actually is 8, so he's only 1 shy of that right now. Now inside to Hetler again, pitches outside now to Du Bois, back to Tharp. 6:05 to go, here in the second quarter. Now Hetler for 3, no good off the backboard. However, Alderson gets the rebound and lays it in. Now jump shot no good there by the Eels. And now we got a whistle here with 5:42 to go. Cascade with a 24-16 lead. It looks like they're going to start to pull away against their 1A opponent. So Tharp bringing it up. Cascade with an 8-point lead about a third of the way through the second quarter. And now inside to Tharp, who lays it in. So Tharp with 6 now. And Eminence takes a much-needed timeout as this game is starting to slip away. They've gone from a 6-point lead now to a 7-point lead, to a 10-point deficit. So a heck of a turnaround by the Cadets since Eminence went on that 12-2 run that made it a 12-5 lead. Cascade now has outscored the Eels by a margin of 21-4. So hopefully we'll keep that up. You know, the last time I commentated these two teams against each other 2 years ago, Cascade led by as many as 41 before taking it easy in the fourth quarter, and the final margin was 28 points. The final score of that game was 73-45. And it was and a player named Justin Glidden, who was a senior for Eminence at the time, scored the first 14 points for the Eels. In fact, it wasn't until the last 30 seconds of the first half that any player other than Glidden scored for Eminence. And there is we got a lay-in by Tharp. He has 8 now, starting to come alive, and it's a 12-point. And now the pass tipped off Michaelis goes out of bounds to Cascade. So the Cadets now with a 12-point lead in the ball, 5:05 to go. The Cadets really pulling away here in the second quarter on a 12-2 run to start off the quarter with a very balanced attack here. Already 6 players have scored. And now Tharp takes it to the basket again, and he puts it in. Tharp with 10, all of them on 2-point field goals. And now as Tharp steals, and he's fouled there. So Eminence perhaps starting to get frustrated and sloppy, feeling the game slipping away from them. The game slipping away from the Eels. 4:41 to go here. I'm sorry, my view of the scoreboard is obscured. And now a steal though, and now it's going to be an uncontested layup there, and it's good. So boy, did Eminence ever need that. That was Webb there. He has 5 now, but the Cadets still with a 12-point lead. And now Ginter commits a foul for the Cadets. 4:25 to go here. His second, team 8th. .425 to go. But yeah, Ginter, only once before tonight had he scored more than 4 points in a game. So very encouraging start there by Ginter. And now a drive to the basket, no good there. Phillips the rebound. And who was that? So Alderson gets a shot and he's fouled. Chance for a 3-point play here. So already 3 Cadets with at least 7 points. Tharp leads the way with 10. Alderson and Hetler have 7 apiece. And then Phillips has 3, and Du Bois and Sanders have 2 apiece. And now apparently a lane violation negates the free throw. So now we hit the even halfway mark in the second quarter. Cascade on top by 14 points. Looks like it's going to be a pretty easy win for the Cadets after the shaky start. Now 3-pointer, no good. Hetler the rebound. And now the ball comes loose. And we got a beautiful layup there by Colton Bales. And now a steal on the inbounds pass. However, it's tipped away, and Alderson gets it. Now Hetler gets it. So Colton Bales got his first points there. So now there's 6 players from each team have scored. Cascade on top, 32-20. Now Phillips with the ball. Over to Du Bois. At the right perimeter, inside to Hetler. Back out to Du Bois. Drives to the free throw lane, pitches out to Phillips. Drives to the basket, puts it up. No good off the backboard. And now a fight over the loose ball between Hetler and Michaelis. Possession arrow favors Cascade. Jump ball called there. So now Ginter coming in for Hetler, who gets a well-deserved ovation. And I'll tell you, and now getting Vincent Walker, the starting center, standing up to slap hands with Hetler. And I'll tell you, once Hetler started playing very well when he came in for Walker, it occurred to me, let's keep Hetler in the game a while, give him some game experience, see how he does, see if we hold the lead. And not only have we held it, but we've increased it. So that makes me even more optimistic that Hetler is going to have a breakthrough senior season. And, just like Walker, it's possible, especially if Hetler grows a few more inches, that, with a breakthrough senior season, he could attract college interest. The first free throw by Webb is good, by the way. He hit them both. He has 7 now. 1 behind Michaelis for the team lead. Cascade 32, Eminence 22. 3:03 to go here in the second quarter here. Du Bois now over to Alderson. Oh, a beautiful move. It drives inside the lane, pitches over. It's knocked loose. However, now Cascade steals as Eminence is bringing it back up. So Phillips will bring it up for Cascade. And now Ginter out to Du Bois. 3-pointer from the top of the key is good. Yes. Dalton Du Bois with 6 points, all coming on 3-point field goals. And we're up by 13 now. It's been as high as 14. And now 3-pointer by Michaelis at the other end. No good. And now Phillips the rebound, and he's fouled on the rebound. I think it's going to be over the back. So Cascade now clearly in control of this game with 2:19 to go here in the second quarter. The Cadets apparently on their way to their first winning streak of the season.
Phillips at the line. Entering the Eels lineup, Greenwater.
And I'll tell you one thing that's really been encouraging tonight is to see Bryson Phillips, the 5'9" senior, really getting in there and going for the rebounds despite his lack of height. So Phillips now at the line. That foul, by the way, coming on. So first free throw is good there by Phillips. Lead goes back to 14, which is as high as it's been all game. Second free throw is good. Phillips with 5 now. So five cadets have at least 5 points now. And now Phillips going for a steal, and it's tipped over, and now we got a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Eminence with 2:09 to go. Great effort, though. Cascade with the game-high 15-point lead. Eminence, a Class 1A team. The Cadets have won 22 of the last 24 meetings in the series, including the last 4 years, each by a margin of at least 17 points. It was 31 last year, 81 to 50. And now, let's see. So now they're getting Tharp for a reach-in foul there, and that puts Eminence in the double bonus. So Colton Bales going to the free throw line now for the Eels, who trail by 15. And he hits it after a couple of bounces. 2:07 to go here in the second quarter. No good off the front of the rim. So Phillips brings it down. Now inside Du Bois. I don't think he realized that he was wide open. Du Bois was wide open. I don't think he realized that. You know, had he done so, he could have laid it in easy. He could have laid it in easily. Excuse me. I know I got to be grammatically correct since this is a high school broadcast, and I have to set a good example. So now Eminence at the other end. You got Colton Bales handling the ball. Pitches over. Three-pointer now from the top of the key. No good off the back of the rim. Rebound by Michaelis. He puts it up too hard, however, no good. And Tharp gets the rebound, pitches down court to Phillips, posts up, now pitches out to Ginter for 3, and he hits it! Yes! Yes! So Cascade with a game-high 17-point lead, 1:18 to go. Cameron Ginter becomes the 7th cadet to score tonight. Michaelis at the other end, and we got a foul here. He'll apparently be going to the line for 2, but nevertheless, things looking very good for the Cadets right now.
Cadets team foul on Alderson. Michaelis at the line.
7 players have scored for Cascade in this game, showing great balance, including 5 who've scored at least 5. Tharp leads the way with 10. So Michaelis now going to the free throw line. He's the leading scorer for Eminence tonight. He misses that one. Michaelis averaging 18 points and 8 rebounds a game on the season, leading the team in both categories. In and out, so he missed them both. So Phillips brings it down now for Cascade. 1:10 to go here in the first quarter. Now a three-pointer from the corner. No good. Boy, this place would have come apart had Du Bois hit that. It would have been his 3rd successful three-pointer of the night. Nevertheless, things looking very good for the Cadets. And now beautiful move there. Swung around. Bales swung around the circle and made a beautiful bank shot there. He has 5 now, cutting the lead to 15. 45 seconds to go here in the first half here at Clayton. Coming at you live on audiosportsonline.com. My name is Lec Zorn, the voice of Cascade Athletics. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you with me. So now Phillips with the ball at the top of the key. Oh, and miscommunication with Tharp, and it goes out of bounds to Eminence. 29.7 seconds to go here in the second quarter. This is the next to last home game of the season. The last one will be Senior Day a week from tonight against Western Boone. I think Cascade wanted a palming violation, but didn't get one. And now drive to the basket, and a nice lay in there by Webb, who has a quiet 9 to lead the team. And now a jump shot from around the free throw line is good there by Tharp. He has a game-high 12. And that's the end of the first quarter. So your Cadets, a 26-7 margin. Excuse me, sorry. Your Cascade pulls away with a 26-13 margin, doubling up the Eels in the second quarter to take firm control of this game. We'll be back with a recap after these words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, Dunn Insurance Agency, Jill, Andy, and Bell's Expert Realtors.net and Global Construction Management, Silver Partners Electric Plus, Bassett Services Heating and Cooling, and Clean Sensation Auto Detail, and Bronze Partner Endeavor Communications. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, we're at halftime with your Cascade Cadets apparently on their way to their first winning streak of the season. They lead the Eminence Eels by a score of 42-27. It's a game in which Eminence started off surprisingly red hot after Cascade opened the scoring with Bryson Phillips' three-pointer. The Eels went on a 12-2 run to take a 12-5 lead. However, Cascade then finally hit its stride on offense and closed out the quarter with an 11-2 run, and then doubled up the Eels by a score of 26-13 in the second quarter, bringing us to our current score of 42-27. And it's a game in which really that's been marked more than anything else. It's a game that really, more than anything else, has been marked by its unusual balance, as 7 different Cascade players have already scored. Mason Tharp, the team's leading scorer on the season, leads the Cadets tonight with 12 points, which is his average on the season. But for me, the most encouraging thing is Gavin Hetler, who replaced Benson Walker after Walker got called for 2 fouls in the first quarter. Walker scored 29, a career high in the last game. Has been scoreless tonight, but his backup Hetler has played very well with 7 points off the bench, which ties for second on the team. Stephen Alderson also with second. Stephen Alderson also has 7 points for the Cadets. In addition, Dane DuBois has 6 points, coming on a couple of successful three-point field goals. Bryson Phillips has 5. Cameron Ginter has 3, and A.J. Sanders has 2. So we have 7 players who've scored tonight, and our second leading scorer on the season, Benson Walker, is not one of them, and yet we still have a 15-point lead. So very, very encouraging sign for the Cadets right now. Meanwhile, for Eminence, Julian Webb leads the way with 9. Sean Michaelis has 8. Colton Bales has 5. Matt Sims has 2. Nolan Ringler has 2. And Zeke Newton has 1. So, anyway, Cascade, they are, I was concerned when I saw that Eminence has basically held even with us roughly against our common opponents, and had a player averaging 18 points a game in Michaelis. But, really, I thought we would win this game, but, when Walker went out, in the first quarter with 2 fouls and no points, I started to get concerned, but, Hetler really was the spark. And to me, even though Tharp has 12, my heart would tell me to give Hetler the game's MVP at this point at halftime. certainly he's been the most pleasant surprise, and hopefully providing us a preview of a banner senior season and also some great things to close out this season. And, to hopefully help us to a good playoff run here coming up in 3 weeks out at South Putnam High School in Greencastle. So, at this point when we obviously can win the game without Walker, I would like us to play Hetler for the majority of the rest of the quarter, and also save Walker for tomorrow night when we're really going to need him against Plainfield, the number 17 ranked team in Class 4A. But anyway, we got 5:13 left on the halftime clock. I want to dust off a favorite of mine. Eminence, as you probably have noticed by now, is the Eels, one of the more unusual names here in Indiana high school sports. And right now I'd like to go over a list of some of the great names that we have here in Indiana high school sports. And I'm going to start with some teams that have, I probably won't have time to get through this whole list. I do when it's football and we have the 20-minute half times, but I'm going to get through as many of these as I can. I'm going to start with this list of teams of high schools that have closed here in Indiana. Hundreds of schools have closed over the years, largely because of the mass consolidations that happened primarily from the 40s through 60s, but still happen occasionally. And so anyway, of the teams that let me start with, because it's a much shorter list. Let me start with the teams that still exist. We've got, these are current high schools that have unusual sports team names: the Adams Central Flying Jets, the Anderson Highland Scots, the Attica Red Ramblers, the Clay City Eagles, which my friend Stacy told me about in her text when she had told me how Eminence got its name, the Delphi Oracles, the Eminence Eels, of course, which is who are playing tonight, the Frankfurt Hot Dogs, which is the team that inspired me to dig up this list. When I first, in my first season of commentary, the 2012-2013 school year, I was about to commentate Danville at Frankfurt, and when I learned that Frankfurt was the Hot Dogs, I accumulated this list for my halftime show, and I've been using it and expanding it ever since. The Gary Wirtz Troopers, the Hamilton Marines, the Hammond Morton Governors, the Hobart Brickies, the Indianapolis Washington Continentals, the International School of Indiana Griffins, that's Gryphons. I need to look up what that one means. The Jimtown Jimmies, the LaPorte Slicers, the Logansport Berries, and my friend associate Mark Rakop went to Logansport, and he told me they got the name from a berry farm near Logansport. The Madison Grant Argylls, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Argylls. The Martinsville Artesians, the Mishawaka Cavemen, the New Harmony Rapites, the Northwest Du Bois Jeeps. And by the way, the wife of Cascade head coach Chris Du Bois told me that her family is not related to the family after whom Du Bois County is named. I questioned her about that when I met her before a football game last school year. Then let's see, the Oldenburg Academy Twisters, the Rising Sun Shiners, the River Forest Ingots, I-N-G-O-T-S, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, the Shoals Jug Rocks, the South Adams Starfires, the South Central Satellites, that's in Union Mills, the Speedway Spark Plugs, who of course are a frequent opponent of Cascades and going to be a conference rival next year when Cascade joins next school year when Cascade joins the Indiana Crossroads Conference. The Sullivan Golden Arrows, who Cascade played in football last season in the WIC crossover game. The Tell City Marksmen, the Vincennes Lincoln Alices, and the Washington Hatchets. And then I'd also like to recognize two schools that closed at the end of last season. The Indianapolis Northwest Space Pioneers, who were contracted as part of a restructuring of the Indiana Public Schools system. And then the Rockville Rocks, Rockville having merged with Turkey Run High School to form Park Heritage High School. And now let's look at some schools that have closed here. The Advance Osceolans, that's Osceoleons. I have no idea what an Osceolan is. I have no idea where Advance is either. The Alkena Blue Arrows, so it would have been cool to pit them against Sullivan, so you'd have the Blue Arrows against the Golden Arrows. The Arlington Purple Breezes, the Bainbridge Pointers, which is part of the North Putnam system. The Banquo Ghosts, the Bedford Stonecutters, the Blackhawk Chieftains, the Bloomingdale Academy Immortals, the Bowers Black Shirts, who I guess they wore black uniforms, the Bridgetown Raccoons, I bet they had a cool mascot, the Buck Creek Cobras, I'm not surprised that there aren't more snake names in sports, the Burlington Polar Cubs, not exactly a geographically appropriate nickname, maybe somewhere in Alaska. So now back to second half action here. Cascade on top 42-27. Apparently headed for their first winning streak of the season. Tharp with the ball. He leads all scorers with 12 over to Phillips. Drives into the lane. Puts it up between a couple of defenders. Great penetrating move by Phillips. He has 7. And Cascade with a game-high 17-point lead now. A long NBA three there. No good. So now Walker tries to get the rebound. He falls down, but Phillips comes away with the ball. And now coming off a pick by Walker over to Alderson. Inside, tried to alley-oop it to Walker. And he turns around and lays it in. So Benson Walker, believe it or not, he's the 8th cadet to score tonight. And we have a 19-point lead. So Cascade apparently headed for victory here. 7:08 to go here in the third quarter at Clayton. So Cascade looks like they're peaking at the right time here. So yes, I just got confirmation from Stacy that Inget is the correct pronunciation. I need to look up I need to look up the definition now. But anyway, foul, by the way, was on Alderson, who sits down. Now Colton Bales with the ball down on the baseline. He passes down on the baseline to Michaelis. And now Bales fakes a pass, and now to his left, but then he finds, I believe that's Ringler to his right. Now Michaelis with the ball, pitches out. A fake from the three in the corner, now over to Bales. Now back out for a three-pointer, no good from the left perimeter. Sanders gets the rebound, brings it down himself. So it's good to see, and now he's fouled there. I think it's going to be a reach-in against Bales. But it's good to see the 5'10 Sanders and the 5'9 Phillips in there, going for the rebounds tonight. Because even though we do have Walker at 6'8 and Hitler at 6'5, we don't have a lot of size other than that. And, Eminence does have Newton at 6'3 and Tudor at Braden Tudor at 6'2, Michaelis at 6'1. Michaelis at 6'1. And there now we've got Phillips there with 9 now. So Phillips coming on strong late in the season, and we've got a 21-point lead now, game high. We've got a whistle here. But yeah, Cascade, Eminence. Eminence has several guys who are taller than the majority of our starters. So it's good to see the shorter guys going in there and going for the rebounds. That foul was on Phillips, his second. So now Walker with the ball, and they got him for it's a turnover. I think they got him for a palming violation. So anyway, Cascade with a 21-point lead now. And now Cascade comes away with a steal there. That's Du Bois. Pitches down court. And now tipped over to Walker. Posts up. Turnaround hook shot, and he hits it. So Walker with 4 now. So Cascade with a 23-point lead now. And now a steal there by Walker. Pitches down court. Tharp, uncontested layup. No, it's blocked out of bounds. Outstanding job there. And apparently a clean block, too. Who was that? I can't tell from my vantage point. I hate it when a commentator. Okay, that was Bales there. I hate it when a player walks, a long distance, where like I see his side view and I can't see his number. But nevertheless, great block shot there. Apparently a clean block. No, they got Bales for the foul. Excuse me. Nevertheless, a very encouraging performance by Cascade today. Very encouraging. Okay, I see. I couldn't see from my vantage point, but Tharp was shaken up on the play. He's walking over apparently to be looked at right now. Let's see if he's going to stay. Okay, he's sitting down near the bench, and he's being attended to. Hopefully it's not serious. We certainly can't afford to lose him. So now Ginter going to the. So now so even though it was so Ginter hits the first one, but anyway, as Tharp was the one who should have taken the free throws as he was injured, he will be replaced by Ginter. I think in that situation, if it's like it is in the NBA, the opposing coach chooses the player to shoot the free throws, and Ginter ends up hitting 1 of 2. And now we fight over the rebound. Walker was fighting over it with Webb. 5:01 to go. Haven't commented about the crowd. We have a pretty decent crowd here tonight. Somewhere in the neighborhood, I'd say 200 to 250 fans, including looks like about 50 from Eminence. So good to see the 1A Eels traveling well. And now traveling against, speaking of traveling, now Eminence commits a traveling violation. And now a Walker pass tipped and stolen there. And now there's a collision there between Michaelis and Sanders. I think they're going to get AJ for the foul. 4:45 to go. That's AJ's team third. Alderson coming in for AJ now. Now a three-pointer there is good. That was Ringler. He has 5 now. Cascade still with a 21-point lead. So Cascade, now with a little over a quarter and a half to play in a game in which it looks like they're going to win easily. I just want to see good execution the rest of the way. I want them to still take the game seriously. And, understand that the preparation for the playoffs starts right now, We have to use every moment that we can and take it extremely seriously. If we do that, we should be okay. And, I am proud of their effort tonight, especially the way that they kept their poise after that shaky, sloppy start. Since we trailed 12-5, we have outscored the Eels by a margin of 46-18. So almost tripled them up since then. So the Cadets really, and that we're doing it, as disappointed as I was that Benson went out with 2 fouls and no points in the first quarter, I think it ended up being a blessing in disguise because, it helped Hetler, get some very important minutes. And to show us that, we're a balanced team and that we, have a lot of weapons. We don't need Benson to score 29 points like he did against Bethesda Christian to have a chance to win. So now a three-pointer there is good there. That was Phillips. And Bryson Phillips now with a career-high 12 points. The second double-figure player for the Cadets tonight. He and Tharp tie for the team lead with 12. And now Hetler getting ready to come in. And now I think they're going to get Ginter there on the foul there, a reach-in against Michaelis. That is against Ginter, his third, team fourth. And now Hetler coming in for Walker. Hetler with 7 points. Getting my... Hetler, certainly is 7 points, very encouraging tonight. Now baseline jumper, no good there by Campbell. And now Hetler pitches down court to Phillips. And now the ball knocked loose there. And we got a foul there. I think they're going to get Walker for reaching in there against Campbell. That's Dylan Campbell. He's a 5'10", 135-pound senior. I'm 5'10" and about 165 or so. Man, 5'10", 135, I just hope he never takes an elbow to the ribs. So now, Michaelis against one-on-one against Walker, spins around and draws the foul. So Michaelis with 8 points, all in the first half. Now he goes to the free throw line. Okay, definition for ingot here: a mass of metal cast in a convenient form for shaping, remelting, reforming, or refining. So Michaelis is the first. Michaelis hits it, so he has 9, tying Webb for the team lead now. 3:34 to go here in the third quarter. Cascade 53, Eminence 31. So he misses the second one. However, there's a ball knocked loose, and finally Alderson gets it, and he's fouled there by Campbell. A move of desperation. So thanks, Stacy, for texting me that definition there. But anyway, 53-31, Cascade, 3:26 to go in the third quarter. Cascade with the lead and the ball. And Alderson brings it past midcourt, pitches over to Du Bois, and he tries to get it into Hetler, but it's knocked out of bounds to Eminence with 3:17 to go now. Hetler has 7 points, one shy of his career high, all of his points in the first half, where he helped spark our comeback from our early 7-point deficit, which we've turned into as much as a 23-point lead. 3:03 to go. Now we got a whistle there. It's going to be on Hetler. That's his second, team 7th. So Eminence in the bonus now. And now I believe for the first time in the game we have Phillips and Walker together on the court with a Twin Towers combination. And that's something I'd like to see more and more this season. I think, against a lot of opponents that can be very effective. So Michaelis now at the free throw line. He hits it after about 3 bounces. So he becomes the first double-figure scorer for Eminence in this game. Cutting the lead to 21 now with 3:03 to go here in the third quarter. Second free throw is up, and it is no good. Hetler, the uncontested rebound. Michaelis now the first double-figure scorer for Eminence. And now Phillips, he tries to get inside to Walker. However, it is knocked out of bounds by Newton. Good awareness there by Newton. A 6'3" junior for the Eels should be in a very important part of the team next year as a senior after losing Michaelis, the leading scorer, to graduation. And now a drive into the lane. Beautiful penetrating move there by Ringler. And he has 7 now. And now 2-on-1 to the basket. Walker puts it up, and he hits it. So Walker with 6 points all here in the second half. And out the other end, Michaelis drives to the basket and draws the foul on Walker here with 2:24 to go here in the third quarter. Walker has not played a lot of minutes tonight. I think in part because Hitler's played so well, and I think in part because we got a game against Plainfield, a ranked 4A team, tomorrow night. That's Walker's third, by the way. He picked up his first 2 in the first quarter. So now a free throw is good after several bounces and a roll there by Michaelis. He has a team high 11. So now Sanders coming in for Walker here. So now Hitler, the main man in the middle for the time being. Michaelis hits them both. He has 12. He averages 18 to lead the team on the season. And he ties Tharp and Phillips for the game lead tonight. 2:20 to go here in the third quarter. Cascade leading by 19. Alderson with the ball. And now a double team pitches over to Tharp. Now over to Sanders. Fakes a baseline jumper, drives to the basket, and he drives to the. He goes to the basket and hits it. He's fouled in the act of shooting. Almost, his shot almost went, which would have given him a chance at a three-point play. Nevertheless, Sanders at the free throw line with 2:06 to go here in the third quarter. Cascade leading by 19, about to get their first winning streak of the season. He hit it. Sanders with 3 now. Sanders on a second one. He hit it. Cascade goes back up by 21. And gets a defensive rebound there. Alderson brings it up. Now over to Tharp. Now down in the corner, and it's knocked away, but Hitler gets it. But the official says it hit the out of bounds line. So Eminence will take over with 1:46 to go in the quarter. And now three-pointer is good there. That was Webb. He has 12, tying for the both the team lead and the game lead. 2 players for each team have 12 now. 57-39, Cascade leading, 1:18 to go in the third quarter. Now handling the ball, we've got, nice fake move there by Alderson. He gets between a couple of defenders, he hits it, and he's fouled. So Stephen Alderson with 9 points now. And Cascade goes back up by 20. The foul is going to be against Campbell. That's his third. His third, team fifth. So Alderson trying to complete the three-point play. No good. However, Sanders tries to, Sanders got a hand on it and tried to tip it to a teammate. It went out of bounds. Nevertheless, great move by AJ. I love the way, the fact that a 5'10 guy pulls down 4 rebounds a game is incredible. And now a pass, they were trying to get Zeke Newton under the basket, but it's tipped out of bounds to Cascade. A minute to go in the third quarter. The Cadets on top by 20. So now Sanders with the ball. Cross court. Tharp for 3. No good off the rim. And the Eels, that was Bales who comes up with the rebound there. Brings it down court. Now over to, and now a jump shot is good there. That was Webb. He has a game high 14 now. 22 seconds to go now. And now a floater there is good by Alderson. He becomes the third double-figure scorer for the Cadets. 13 seconds to go now. It's a 20-point lead. And now a steal there by number 20. A fight over the loose ball. Jump ball possession arrow favors. Possession arrow favors Cascade. 7.1 seconds to go in the third quarter. So now inside to Tharp. Now down to number 20 in the corner. His name's not on the roster. Now inside to Hetler. Oh, misses it, but AJ puts it in at the buzzer. So not much isn't, since this late in the first quarter, there isn't much that hasn't been going wrong. That there hasn't been much that's gone wrong for your Cadets. With 8 minutes to play, they lead Eminence 63-41. We'll be back with the conclusion of this probable Cadet victory after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets, Hendricks Regional Health. Diamond Partners, Best Way Drywall, the North Salem State Bank. Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, Dunn Insurance Agency, Jill, Eddie, and Bell's ExpertRealtors.net, and Global Construction Management. Silver Partners, Electric Plus, Bassett Services Heating and Cooling, and Clean Sensation Auto Detail, and Bronze Partner Endeavor Communications. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton, where your Cascade Cadets are about to get their first winning streak of the season. At the start of the fourth quarter, they lead the Eminence Eels by a score of 63-41. It's a game in which the Cadets started off slow, trailing 12-5, but pulled ahead 16-14 at the end of the first quarter, and have been on fire ever since. Now, Sean Michaelis starts off the fourth quarter with a missed three-pointer. Benson Walker, the rebound. 8 Cadets have scored tonight, including 3 in double figures. Most encouraging, however, for me at least, is the very good game by backup center Gavin Hetler, who sparked the team in the late first and early second quarter, scoring 7 points, one shy of his career high of 8. And now Cameron Ginter travels for the Cadets. Nevertheless, Cascade 7 minutes and 30 seconds away from its first winning streak of the season. Looks like the Cadets are finally getting on track in time for the playoffs. They do have a big showdown in Plainfield tomorrow night against the ranked Class 4A Quakers. Hope you all will get out there for that one. So now Bales inside to Newton, who gets his first field goal of the game. He had a free throw earlier, cutting the lead to 20. 7:04 to go in the game now. We're coming at you live here in Clayton. And now a beautiful pass to Du Bois inside, out to Walker for a missed three. And the ball goes out of bounds to Cascade with 6:52 to go. The Cadets leading by 20. I tell you, 14 players in all have scored in this game. 8 for Cascade, 6 for Eminence. That's a lot for, a game with a couple of smaller schools. Cascade in 2A, Eminence in 1A. You get a lot of small schools, and often, they don't have a whole lot of talent, and they have to fill out the roster with whoever is available. So you often have games where you don't have a whole lot of guys scoring. Now Benson Walker getting fouled in the act of shooting here, so he will go to the free throw line. He has 6 points all in the
Eels team foul on Newton.
No, okay, the foul's on Newton, but they've determined it's that he was not in the act of shooting. 6:47 to go, excuse me. Now inside to Ginter. And now it's tipped away from him, and now we've got, looks like Newton was fouled there with 6:42 to go. It's going to be on Ginter, his fourth. Cameron Ginter, 4 points and 4 fouls. Nevertheless, good to have him back. And now he sits down, replaced by Alderson. But, it's good to have him back because even though he doesn't get a lot in the way of statistics, 4 points, 4 rebounds, his size, he's a lineman on the football team. His size really makes him a good plugger. And the first free throw is good there by Newton. But, and that's a good supplement. Walker is, he's tall, but he's not particularly, muscular. So, those two guys play off each other well there as Newton hits them both. He has 5 now, cutting the lead to 18 with 6:42 to go in the game. Nolan Ringler coming in for the Eels now. So now Walker brings it past midcourt. Hopefully they'll take him out for good soon because we pretty well have this game wrapped up. We got that showdown out at Plainfield tomorrow that he needs to be fresh for. So now Sanders inside to Walker, turn around, puts it up. He hits it and he's fouled. Walker with 8 now going to the line, a chance to make it 9. He scored a career-high 29 in his last game a week ago yesterday here at Clayton against Bethesda Christian. So Benson Walker, the 6'8 senior, having a breakthrough season. He hit it. He has 9. Now, long shot, no good. Michaelis puts it up and in. So Michaelis now with 14 to tie Webb for the game high. But nevertheless, Cascade apparently is on its way to an easy victory. They lead by 19 with 6:13 to go in the game now. If Michaelis does hit this free throw, then he will be in sole possession of being the leading scorer in this game. So Tharp now replacing Du Bois in the game. Du Bois has 6 points, coming on a couple of 3-point field goals. Michaelis does hit it. He has 15 now, and it's a 66-48 Cascade lead with 6:13 to go now. And we've got and now Eminence takes a timeout. So, overall, this, it hasn't been an outstanding game for Cascade, but it's been a very, very good game. They overcame the sloppy start, and I give them an A- or B+ for their performance today. Very encouraging to see that they're peaking at the right time, and I understand that the last 2 games, the only 1A opponents of the season, and you always need to take the opponent into consideration, but the execution regardless has been very good. And if we execute this well against Plainfield tomorrow night, I don't think we will win the game, Plainfield being the number 17 ranked team in Class 4A, but I think we will be competitive. I think we will give a performance that we're proud of, certainly much better than the last time we played them back on January 2nd when they beat us by 40 points here at Clayton in the Hendricks County tournament. So certainly things looking up for Cascade now. And just got to be happy with the way that they've played so far. And like I said, I do believe that they have a shot to make some noise in the playoffs. Especially if we get a good draw, especially if we get that first round bye. That won't guarantee us a win, but, certainly it will play into our favor, especially since I believe all 6 teams have a realistic shot to win. So now Hetler drives it, and it's blocked. However, on the rebound, Alderson, wow, beautiful shot there. Stephen Alderson with a 3-pointer. And we go up by 21 now, 5:46 to go in the game. And now we got a foul there. I think it's going to be Michaelis going to the line again. So Michaelis now going to the line. He has a game high 15. His first free throw, no good after a couple of bounces. 5:42 to go in the game. Cascade 69, Eminence 48. Eminence trying to get its first winning season in 8 years. They're on, by the way, I'll hold this thought. I need a little more time to tell the story properly. So Michaelis' second free throw is good. He has 16 now to lead all scorers in the game. So now Walker with the ball down on the baseline, and he draws the foul. So he will go to the line, and if he hits even one of these, he will become our fourth double-figure player of the game.
Eels team foul on Webb. Walker at the line.
So Benson Walker now going to the free throw line. He hit it, so he's got 10 points now, joining Alderson, Tharp, and Phillips as our double-figure scorers tonight. He hit it. Walker with 11 now. And now a drive to the basket, and there's a foul there. Cascade leads by 22 points. And we're going to have Dylan Campbell. The foul's on Alderson. That's his fourth. Eminence is in the double bonus. Dylan Campbell at the free throw line. He hit it. That's his first point. So now we have 7 Eels and 8 Cadets have scored now. Du Bois now coming in for Alderson. Alderson and Ginter have 4 fouls apiece. No good on the free throw by Campbell. So he hit the first one, missed second, and now we got a collision there. Going for the rebound, and an Eminence player is slow to get up. And he appears to be limping slightly. Apparently there's and now Walker's coming out with a towel and wiping a wet spot there on the floor. That the Eminence player is staying in the game. 5:24 to go. Cascade 71 and Eminence 50. But anyway, the head coach for Eminence, Todd Haney, is the team's 5th head coach in 6 seasons, and now you look at how many losing seasons Eminence has had in a row. 7 now. They're trying to avoid an 8. Then 8, they're 9-9, about to go to 9-10. But you got to look at why the program is struggling. You got to think lack of consistency. As a head coach. So it's amazing that in Todd Haney's first year as head coach that they're 9-9, coming off 7 consecutive losing seasons. And if they keep him for a while, and he's able to work with the youth basketball program and build up the program, then Eminence, I believe, can be a consistent winner in Class 1A. There, as we got, I think they're going to get Michaelis for reaching on Walker there with 4:54 to go. And I really like Benson to be taken out of the game after these free throws, because we're really going to need him to play heavy minutes tomorrow night against Plainfield, especially because they have a lot. The Quakers have a lot of size, so we're really going to need Benson. But anyway, though, when you have 5 head coaches in 6 seasons, it's so hard to find consistency, and so the fact that Haney is doing this well when he's their 5th head coach in 6 seasons, that he has them at 500 after 7 consecutive losing seasons, as Walker hits his first free throw. That's really a great achievement, and I hope the Eels keep him and keep him around, give him a chance to develop the program. Certainly, the good start he's off to will help a lot. So Walker hits them both. He has 13 now, 1 under Alderson for the team lead. 4:53 to go in the game, and it's a 23-point Cascade lead. Bales with the ball, now drives to the basket, gets between a couple of defenders, no good on the layup, put too much on it. And Du Bois comes away with the rebound, gives it over to Tharp, trying to bring it past midcourt. He's very well guarded, gives it up to Sanders, who does bring it past midcourt. And now his sloppy pass to Hetler is stolen by Bales. Nice behind-the-back dribble. And now he gives it over there to Michaelis. Fakes a three, drives to the basket, puts it up, and he's fouled there by Walker with 4:21 to go. And really with a 23-point lead, with 4:21 to go, I really think it's time to take Walker out for the rest of the night. We start another game against a ranked 4A team in less than 24 hours as Michaelis goes to the free throw line. Chance to extend his game high of 16. His first free throw is up and good. He has 17 now. And yes, Walker is sitting down. Phillips coming in. That foul, by the way, was on Benson, his fourth. So that's one thing about Cascade. We have three players with 4 fouls apiece tonight. There is Michaelis Mitch is the second one. And now fight over the rebound, and Sanders is fouled there with 4:19 to go. Cascade 73, Eminence 51. Cascade also in the double bonus. The foul on Michaelis is third. But yeah, definitely want to see us commit fewer fouls. That's one of the few blotches on our record tonight. So Sanders hits it. He has 7 now. AJ, a very pleasant surprise this year from a basketball standpoint. Obviously, he's a superstar in the football team. Really excited about his senior season coming up in a few months. So Bales with the ball now. Now, three-pointer there. No good. Rebound by Hetler. 4:03 to go. Gives it, and now we got a foul there as they're going to get, it looks like Ringler for the foul there as Tharp was bringing it down for the Cadets.
Eels team foul on Ringler, third line.
Tharp hits it. He has 13 now. One of 4 Cadets in double figures tonight. Hits second one. He's got 14, tying Alderson for the team lead. So now a baseline jumper is good there by Webb. He has 16 now. And now we got a whistle here.
Eels team foul on Webb. Sanders is on.
So the foul's on Webb. Sanders now at the free throw line is up and, air ball. It did graze the net, but did not hit the rim. By the way, this is a career high for Stephen Alderson. His previous career high was 12. So a lot of Cadets getting their career highs tonight, or at least in the very recent future. Benson Walker, a career high 29 in his last game. So AJ misses them both. Nevertheless, a very good game overall, though, for the 5'10 junior. And the best player on the football team. One of those guys who does it all, offense, defense, and special teams. So now Michaelis drives the baseline, puts it up. It's blocked by Tharp, and then we got a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Cascade with 3:28 to go. 77-53, Cascade leading. And now number 20 coming in for Tharp. The last time, by the way, that Cascade won 2 consecutive games And now they're totally emptying the bench here. So, but yeah, the last time Cascade won 2 consecutive games, it was also against Eminence. And now a three-pointer there is no good by number 20 for Cascade. Again, his name is not on the roster, or at least it's not on the roster under number 20. And now a three-pointer, air ball, and Ginter pulls down the rebound. But the last time Cascade got a winning streak, they won 4 in a row last year, ending with victories over Bethesda Christian and Eminence. That evened our record at 9-9. And now we got a collision there on the rebound. And number 44, Daniel Kelsey, a 5'7" junior, a 5'7" sophomore for the Eels, is knocked to the floor. Foul is on Du Bois, that's his third. Cascade 77, Eminence 53, 2:47 to go here in the game. This is a game I thought that Cascade would win, although I thought it would be close, based on how we compared it with our common opponents. First free throw is up and no good. So now a whole slew of substitutions. So no starters left in the game for Cascade. So this is a hard time for me as a commentator, when I have to, get accustomed to, calling a lot of names that I don't normally call. Second free throw is good there by Kelsey. He has 1 point. He's the 8th Eel to score. 8 cadets have scored as well. So now we've got, let's see, and now we've got a double dribble there against number 43, who's also not on the roster. Part of the annoying charm of high school ball. 77-43, Cascade leads with 2:32 to go in the game. Eminence bringing it up now. I don't think we have any starters left in the game for either team. And I give Eminence credit, on their roster, counting varsity and junior varsity, they have 22 players overall. And if their attendance is still around the 250 mark, what I reported a couple of years ago, that means, assuming it's 50% boys, that'd be about 125 boys. So that means they have about a fifth or a sixth of the boys in the high school playing basketball. So first free throw no good there by Luke Maringer. He's a 6'1" sophomore for Eminence. Misses them both. Now bringing it down for Cascade, we have Dylan Kottkamp, starting quarterback of the football team. Looking forward to his, and now he double dribbles with 2:09 to go. Really looking forward to Kottkamp's senior season, in which it will be his third as a starter. He was not ready to start for a varsity team as a sophomore in 2017, but that experience being thrown into the fire like that really helped him a lot. He's continually improved. He was decent last season as a junior, and I'm really hoping for a breakthrough senior season for him, and I think he'll get it. So now we've got Wesley O'Mullane with a field goal for Eminence, the ninth Eel to score in this game. And now turnaround jumper, no good. And now fight over the loose ball. Jump ball, possession arrow favors Eminence with 1:34 to go in the game. The Cadets leading by 21. I give Eminence credit. I mean, they've got 9 players scored for a 1A team. That's very good. So now O'Mullane now, and now three-pointer is good there. Was that Kelsey? I believe it was Kelsey. So yeah, it was Kelsey there. Now for Cascade. 43 now over to Kottkamp, fakes a three, drives into the lane, pitches down, baseline jumper, no good. Rebound there, and to put it up and in. That was Aiden Roach there, a JV player. I believe those are his first varsity points. And 46 seconds to go. Cascade with the ball now in a 20-point lead. And now And now he's, oh man, he was hacked there. So who was that? I believe it was Kottkamp who will be going to the free throw line there. So Dylan Kottkamp trying to get his first points. Kottkamp is a 5'9" junior, starting quarterback for the football team, also a varsity baseball player. First free throw is up and no good. 40.3 seconds to go. Hopefully Dylan will get it here. He would be the 10th cadet to score tonight. 9 Eels have scored tonight, by the way. He hit it. Yes. So we got 10 players score tonight. 37 seconds to go. Cascade with a 19-point lead. Now inside, hook shot no good. And we got number 43 with the rebound. And now number 20 for a three-pointer, no good. Rebound there by O'Mullane. That's O''Mullane. And now a nice block there by 43. Kelsey with the three-pointer, no good. 4 seconds left. And now O'Mullane, three-pointer. It is blocked there, and that's the game. So your Cadets get their first winning streak of the season. Your final score here tonight: Cascade 80, Eminence 59. We'll be back with a recap and a look ahead to tomorrow night's showdown at Plainfield after these final words from our sponsors on audiosportsonline.com. The Cascade High School Athletic Department simply would not be able to operate without the financial support of our business partners. We would like to recognize and thank them for their generosity. The official health provider to the Cadets, Hendricks Regional Health, Diamond Partners, Bestway Drywall, and North Salem State Bank, Platinum Partners, Allen Irrigation Company, CJ's Pizza, Dunn Insurance Agency, Jill Indian Bells Expert Realtors.net, and Global Construction Management, Silver Partners, Electric Plus, Bassett Services Heating and Cooling, and Clean Sensation Auto Detail, and Bronze Partner Endeavor Communications. Thank you, business partners. Your support of the student athletes of Cascade High School is greatly appreciated. Well, back here at Clayton for a final time tonight, where your Cascade Cadets have gotten their first winning streak of the season, beating the Eminence Eels by a score of 80-59. It's a game in which Eminence started off red hot. They went on an early 12-2 run to take a 12-5 lead. Cascade recovered, closing out the first quarter with an 11-2 run, taking a 16-14 lead, then outscored the Eels 26-13 in the second quarter to take a 42-27 lead, and then the second half pulled away, cruising to a 21-point victory. And it's a game in which Cascade showed probably the most balance that they have scored all season, which is very encouraging as they head into the playoffs in just 3 weeks, to be exact. They start the playoffs 2 weeks from Tuesday out at South Putnam High School in Greencastle. Hopefully we will get the first round bye. We will see. But it does look like the Cadets are peaking at the right time. So anyway, let's take a look at the individual scoring. First of all, for Cascade, we had 4 players in double figures, led by Stephen Alderson and Mason Tharp with 14 apiece. Benson Walker with 13. Bryson Phillips with 11. A.J. Sanders with 8. Gavin Hetler with 7. Dane DuBois with 6. Cameron Ginter with 4. Aiden Roach with 2. And Dylan Kottkamp with 1. So in all, 10 cadets scored tonight, which is outstanding. You don't even see that with a whole lot of Class 4A teams. So when a 2A team does it, it's really impressive. And, you know, more specifically, that we had, we had 7 players score 6 or more points. And when that happens, you're going to win about 98 points. You're going to win about 98% of the time. So really great team effort for Cascade tonight. Anyway, and then looking for, let's see here. Looking at the totals for Eminence, we had, let's see, Sean Michaelis with 17, Julian Webb with 16. They were the only double-figure scorers for the Eels tonight. Then Nolan Ringler had 7. Zeke Newton had 5. Colton Bales had 5. Daniel Kelsey had 4. Wesley O'Mullane had 2. Matt Sims had 2. And Dylan Campbell had 1. So 9 players score for Eminence, 10 for Cascade. So we had 19 players score tonight, a very high number for any game, especially a 2A versus a 1A team. So anyway, this was a game in which Cascade overall played very well. You know, certainly it was not a great opponent. Eminence, Class 1A team, although they did come in the game at 9-9 and having fared about equally against our 4 common opponents. So it's a game that I didn't think was going to be, you know, this big a win. I thought, you know, it would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of an 8 or 10 point Cascade win. We ended up winning by 21. So overall, a very, very good game for Cascade. I give them a B+. We only had, I don't think we even had more than 3 or 4 unforced errors. We made, I think the big blotch tonight, you know, other than the start in which Eminence, other than the start in which Eminence went on that 12-2 run about midway through the first quarter to take a 12-5 lead, we didn't have any major lapses, just, you know, one scattered play here and there. But what was really the only thing that really caused me concern is that we did end up with 3 guys with 4 fouls apiece. And we could get away with it against Eminence. We can't get away with it against a lot of our opponents. So that's something to work on. But other than that, you know, I'd give this, if it weren't for the high fouls, I'd give us an A-. Because of the high number of fouls, I give us a B+ for this game. So we're clearly getting better. You know, we're 5-14 now on our first winning streak of the season. 3 games to play tomorrow. So what I want to do is I want us to, you know, close out with 3 consecutive A games. Now, tomorrow night, that's going to be a tall order because we're against, you know, arguably our toughest opponent of the season, the Plainfield Quakers, a Class 4A team who beat us by 40 points back on January 2nd in the Hendricks County tournament. We have improved since then. Probably not enough to beat them, but like I said, I want us to make a goal of cutting the margin in half. We lost by 40 last time. I'd like us to lose by no more than 20 tomorrow night. Let's take a look at Plainfield. They currently have a record of, let's see. They currently have a, I know that they've only lost 3 games. And they're ranked number 17 in Class 4A. They've lost 3 games. 2 of them were by 20 and 22 points to Brownsburg, who currently is ranked number 14 in Class 4A. And then they lost in overtime to Decatur Central, another 4A team. So certainly it's a game we got to, you know, take very seriously. And I know we will since they beat us by 14. So that was a silly comment because that it's obvious. But again, the Quakers entering the game with a record of 16-3, and it looks like they have their best team of the Andy Weaver era. You know, they did lose their 6'11" center Gavin Bizot, who's now playing at Duquesne University, from last year's team, as well as their sharp shooting guard Trey Davis. But the Quakers do have 3 double-figure scorers, led by the 6'5" Gibbs brothers, Jacob and Cade. Cade has 14 points and 6.1 rebounds, as well as 1.7 steals a game, leading the team in every category, while Jacob is close behind with 13.4 points and 5.2 rebounds. And appropriately, he and twin brother Cade have an exactly equal number of assists, averaging 2.7 a game, while sophomore Aiden Booher looks like he's going to be the next major scoring threat down the stretch over these next couple of years for Plainfield. He averages 10 points and a team-high 3.1 assists per game. Hope you all will get out there for that one. It's a very easy drive to get to Plainfield, just about 20 minutes from here. You just take US 40 all the way down to Indiana 267 and take a right, and it's about 2 miles down the road on your right. So anyway, I hope you all will get out there for that one. Get a big road crowd, get a lot of black and Columbia blue there in the stands to support our kids and let them know you believe in them, in these last couple of weeks of the regular season as they try to keep building momentum heading into the playoffs. So it should be an exciting game against a marquee opponent, and let's see how much progress we've made since that 40-point loss to Plainfield about 6 weeks ago, the day after New Year's Day. So certainly I think we've come a long way since then, and certainly we've built a lot of momentum. And I know that it's very easy to say that these two wins were both against 1A teams, but they were both very good performances nevertheless, and in which we got big contributions from a lot of guys. And in the last game we did it with Benson Walker a week ago yesterday. He got a career high 29, almost won the game by himself. Today was much more balanced, and like I said, we had 6 guys with at least 7 points. So and I don't ever remember Cascade doing that in my 3 years of commentating their boys basketball team. And you look at the sectional, 4 teams have a losing record: Monrovia and South Putnam. The 2 teams with winning records at 11 and 6. Both solid teams, but certainly unspectacular teams that we're capable of beating if we play our A game. So we're looking forward to that draw a week from Sunday at 5 p.m. On IHSAATV.com. And then after that, Cascade will return home for their final home game a week from tonight against the Western Boone Stars, a team that they're a Class 3A team, which is odd because the girls are 2A in basketball, the boys are 3A. That's a great athletic program. Western Boone won the Class 2A state championship in football last year, and then the girls just won the sectional, the Cloverdale sectional this year that our girls were in. The boys not doing quite as well, but still a solid team with a record of 8 and 9. So anyway, I hope you all will get out there a week from tonight as we honor this this great senior class of Benson Walker, who's headed off to college ball probably, as well as Cameron Ginter and Bryson Phillips, as well as the 2 seniors who've missed the entire season, Ross Stevenson, who started for us last season, and then Justin Hurst. So anyway, I hope you all will get out there to give a nice send off to all 5 of those kids, and hopefully we'll get a win. And even if we lose tomorrow night, if we beat Western Boone, that will send us into our regular season finale, having won 3 of our last 4. So I feel like we are entering the playoffs with momentum. And as long as we're at least fairly competitive with Plainfield tomorrow night, I don't think that will hurt our momentum. I mean, if we lose by 40, then yes, but I don't think we will. Especially because we played enough guys heavy minutes tonight that I don't think we wore down anybody too much. I think Benson Walker might have played 15, maybe 16 or 18 minutes at most tonight. I was glad to see that Gavin Hetler not only got a lot of the minutes at center tonight, but that he played very well in doing so, just missing his career high by 1 point. So, and certainly giving me more optimism since he's probably going to be our starting center next season as a senior. So, he really played hard. Second half, he got a little too aggressive with the ball. A couple of the shots he just, put up too recklessly, but he gave a great effort, really went after the rebounds, drove to the basket, used his size. He was taller than anybody, 2 inches taller than anybody on Eminence. So he played very well tonight. And giving a game ball when you have that much of a balanced effort, it's tough. Probably I would, when all else fails, it's usually a pretty safe bet to go with the leading scorers, which were Alderson and Tharp with 14 apiece tonight. But, certainly in my heart, I would give it to Hetler tonight. It was really encouraging him to see him doing what he did, especially early in the game, not in garbage minutes at the end, but in the first and second quarter. He really was the main spark when we went on that 11-2 run to end the first quarter, and from there we led the rest of the way. So great job by Gavin, and I hope to see a lot more of that with him. And again, I'd like to see more minutes of him and Walker on the inside, especially when, and I think we'll see that tomorrow night at Plainfield, since they're pretty big up front too, with the Gibbs brothers at 6'5" and Booher at 6'4". So anyway, in conclusion, this was not a marquee win, but certainly a very good win. Great to have a winning streak, and now we just got to, keep on building on this. We've caught 2 fish the last 2 games, not big ones, but, we're going to have a chance to catch bigger fish this year, and if we play the way we did tonight, and if we keep on improving from game to game the way that, we generally have over the last few weeks, then, I think we are going to have a very good shot in the tournament, especially if we get a favorable draw. Maybe if we draw one of the weaker teams in the sectional get that first round bye, and then from there, play a team, get a win on in the semifinal, and then play the championship game against a team playing its 3rd game in 5 days and more subject to fatigue. So I like our chances. Especially, that we're playing well, and, still, I think a lot of people see us as 5-14. Hopefully will overlook us, and not take us too lightly. But we have no control over that. We just have control over us. So if we keep controlling the things we can control, then, I think we're going to finish the season strong and build a lot of momentum into next season, in which most of these guys are going to be back. We will lose Walker, but I think Hetler has a chance to really step up and be a great player for us as a senior. And then I really like what I'm seeing from some of these guys, such as Alderson tonight, the sophomore only with 14, and then Mason Tharp, with 14 as well, who will have him back next year. So in fact, at 2 of our 4 double-figure scores from tonight, we'll have back next year. And then, I also liked some of the things I saw from Dane DuBois tonight. He had a couple of threes, and we know what's in his bloodline with what his big brother Dalton did. And then AJ, the way he's played, with his first varsity action this season, I think he can be very good for us, either as a starter or as a 6th man next season. And don't forget, when you look at our 5-14 record, we have been playing without 2 seniors who missed the entire season, including 1 starter. So that, you got to look at that mitigating circumstance. But these guys have responded well, and I really think that, like the girls, they're playing their best basketball season at the end, which is the time you want to do it, and certainly helping build this program into an annual contender for the Class 2A state championship. And hopefully we'll start off with a sectional championship this season, but if we don't do it this season, I think we're going to have a very good shot to do it next season for the boys and the girls too. And in the meantime, just important that we get out and support these kids and let them know that we believe in them and we're behind them all the way. And I think, when they have greater success in the future, it'll mean a lot to them if they remember that we were there cheering for them, supporting them through the rough times, that we weren't just jumping on the bandwagon, when they got good later. So anyway, once again, your final score here tonight at Clayton: Cascade 80, Eminence 59. The Cadets get their first winning streak of the season and improve to 5-14, while the Eels drop to 9-10. Well, this concludes our broadcast. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I cordially invite you to do so again 1 week from tonight at 7:15 for the pregame show, as your Cascade Cadets play their senior day game against the Western Boone Stars. And I also encourage you all to get out to Plainfield tomorrow night, as your cadets play the number 17 team, the number 17 ranked team in Class 4A, the Plainfield Quakers. Until we meet again, for audiosportsonline.com, this is Lec Zorn reminding you, there is a difference only you can make.